Good evening, Drew.
Hello, Paul.
How you doing?
Uh, I'm good. You sound a little staticky. Is that me?
I don't. You sound fine. Should we hang up and try again?
No. I think we're professionals and we can just make it work.
Okay.
I don't know.
All
It's just weird. I think it's Skype being Skype. I don't know.
Skype gonna Skype.
Skype gonna Skype. Oh, okay. Wow, you've got a lot of content.
Okay. I mean, I got some, three contents.
Three whole contents, but it's contents that I think we can really sink our teeth into because you got a nice mix of follow up here. You've got something that I'm really interested in hearing about. But
okay,
why don't you just take us away?
So the first thing I wanted to talk about is a little bit of follow up. I don't know, episode 86. Yeah, 86 and 87. I talked about using a Raspberry Pi to make it kind of a little music streaming box. I installed Volumio on it, and I purchased some stuff from HiFiBerry, and it finally arrived, and I've installed it, and I'm pretty happy with it. So the two things I got was the HiFiBerry DAC 2 Pro, which is a little hat that adds basically RCA jacks. You plug it into the GPIO pins on the Raspberry Pi, and then it has a better DAC than the Raspberry Pi has, and some RCA jacks. And then the case that goes with it. And the case is actually really nice because the case is in two pieces, the top and the bottom. You screw the Raspberry Pi on the bottom, you screw the DAC hat on the top, and then you just put it together.
I mean, I can't think of a single day in my life that I'm not about screwing tops and bottoms.
Turns out.
Yeah.
And it works really well. Volumio detected it right away. It sounds good. It works well. I'm super happy with it.
Now, is that a steel case?
It is a steel case, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm interested now.
Yes, it is steel. They sell a black version and a white version. I got the white version, even though it's like $2 more or something. But it finally made its way all from Sweden. If you're going to buy these, please see if they have them on Amazon. Don't do what I did. But yeah, it works really. They give you all the hardware that you need to assemble everything. And yeah, it works really well.
Yeah, so just quickly refresh my memory, because when we last talked about this, you were basically trying to build crap, now I can't remember. Man, my brain is so foggy. But you were trying to build a music server for the house, right?
Yeah, well, it's in my office right now. Yeah, and basically I've used I should put a link into there to Volumio again. So Volumio is the software that I picked. Basically, it's a whole Linux distro that you just pop on your SD card and rock with it. And yeah, it works really well. I have some music files on my Synology, and Volumio. I hooked Volumio up to that so I can play those. There's a Spotify plugin, so I can search and play Spotify right from the web UI. Or what I most likely do, it also supports Spotify Connect. So if you ever use that, where you basically have like a Spotify app open on one device, but you're playing music on another device, that's what I use primarily, because I usually always have Spotify up on one of my monitors here, and I just say, hey, play to my Raspberry Pi, and then it does. It also supports AirPlay, although I have found that functionality to be really unreliable. But
so okay, hold on, let me dig in just a little bit deeper. So
yep.
if I may, this is basically Plex but for audio.
Yes, to a degree. The difference is like Plex doesn't care about I mean, I guess it does. Like, if you could get Plex to play on a pair of bookshelf speakers that won't connect to your computer, yes.
So that's the part I'm having trouble with. So like with Plex, you need some sort of app or a device that can connect to Plex. This looks like it's designed to cast music to devices that are compatible. Now, you obviously are using this little Raspberry Pi boy to receive the audio signal, which I'm assuming travels through the air through the magic of Wi-Fi. But you said
Ethernet,
or through electrons. But you're saying that AirPlay doesn't work very well.
Yeah, so basically, Volumio also kind of exposes itself as an AirPlay device, so you can, pick it from your iPhone and send audio to there. It works about every 4 out of 5 times, and then after the 5th time, it just needs a reboot. I imagine it's just a buggy implementation.
That's 80%. That's passing.
Yeah, it's passing. Yep.
Yeah, that's the only reason I got through college.
Yeah. I honestly don't use that feature very much. It's mostly just been me playing with it. The biggest thing I use it for is, I have these pair of speakers in my office now, and I can listen to Spotify with them without having to, get up or,
Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, no.
This is itching a part of my brain.
Okay.
All right, so use cases for getting the audio out of this system. Number 1, casting it to a device that can receive the signal. We've established that AirPlay is hit or miss. This little device you built obviously works. I guess what other devices would I cast to?
Well, no, so you don't necessarily. The Volumio is the destination, not the source.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
okay. Yeah.
Wait, well, hold on. Wait, no, I don't get it. So,
yep. Okay, so you install. So, think of it kind of how like RetroPie works, right? Where it's a piece of software that it's the whole Linux distribution, right? So you put that on there and you plug that into your Raspberry Pi. And what happens is it's headless, right? So it boots up and then it basically exposes a website,
right,
off of there. So you log on to there. By default, it's volumio.local, whatever, and then you basically hook it up to sources. So I basically told Volumio, hey, I have this network attack storage. Here's how you connect to it. This is where all that music is. I installed the Spotify plugin, gave it my credentials. So I can basically go to, I wonder if I can find a screenshot of this bad boy. So I can basically open up, the local website and then, see all my, music on my NAS, or click on the Spotify thing and then search my playlists or albums or everything like there.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So this is designed to aggregate, serve, organize, catalog your music.
Bingo.
Right. Just like
Yep.
Plex.
Yep.
Here's my problem. Okay, so when I want to play this music, where do I go?
You basically open up any other device that's connected to your network that has a web browser.
Okay.
And then you go to that device. So I named my Raspberry Pi Pinkie Pie after one of the My Little Ponies. So I go to pinkiepie.local, and then it brings up the device, and then I can browse the interface there. Or what I do more often is it also supports Spotify Connect, which is that ability to basically control Spotify devices from other Spotify devices.
Right.
So I have Spotify open. I just click on the button, say, hey, instead of playing on my Mac, play it at Pinkie Pie, and then all the controls are there, and it just works.
Okay, so so I have a computer. I log onto a web browser. I start playing music. Totally get it.
Yep.
What I'm not getting is how do I tell it to play on my AirPlay speakers? Do I have to log into the browser?
No. It doesn't send to AirPlay. It is an AirPlay destination. So if I'm playing, say I have Overcast, I'm listening to Overcast. I'm like, I'd rather listen to it to my office speakers. I can hit the little AirPlay button, and then I see Pinkie Pie in there, and then I hit that, and it plays through Volumio. So it doesn't play. It's not an AirPlay.
Oh, your
source.
Computer's the bridge.
Yes. Well, no.
Okay.
Well, the Raspberry Pi is the bridge. Yeah.
Right.
It is an AirPlay destination. Right. It
got it. Okay.
You can send audio to it to play
from a device that can see it as an AirPlay device.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. I think I'm starting to get it. Wow. That.
Yep.
Whew, maybe it's because it's Thursday, but I was having a real hard time with that.
Oh,
Well, that's good. I'm happy for you. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Now, can you like get in there and hack the interface and stuff, or is it a pretty good interface? Or
the interface isn't bad. It's definitely designed by developers. It could use some work. I have some documentation bookmark for going in and tweaking a few things. Like by default, you can set you can give it like a background. There's some things I want to hide in the UI and some things I want to change, and you can do that. You can get in there and hack with it, and I have the documentation somewhere. I just need to do it. Mostly, I kind of waited until I got the HiFiBerry DAC, just in case for some reason I had to reinstall it, right? Just in case like it freaked out and something. It's, under the covers it's Linux, and Linux and sound, right? So
yeah, it's true.
I kind of wanted to like make sure everything worked, and then I can start customizing. So that's
okay.
Next. Yep.
Now here's the thing. I'm really here's my next problem though. We scratched the surface of this in our last conversation about this topic, but how many audio files do you still possess?
What do you mean audio files?
Like MP3s,
audio files. Not many. And they're very dated. They're from a very earlier, like when I, didn't listen to as much metal. So not a bunch, but more than zero. And
so yeah. Is the primary driver of this Spotify Connect then?
Yeah, that's what I use the most. Yep.
Okay. So you're not really like serving up some incredible library of audio that you have collected over the years. Okay. All right.
No.
All right. I think I get it. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank
you.
The
end. Yep.
The end.
Continuing this trend of talking about audio things, Paul, would you like to hear how I wasted $60 this week?
I would love to hear how you wasted $60. This could be the smallest amount of money you've talked about wasting.
Well, yeah, I'm good at that. Turns out that's my superpower. Okay, so one thing that I've heard from people that like when I stream, and I think I've also heard it on this podcast, is sometimes my mic is very low.
Okay, yeah.
And I have messed with gain. I've actually like cranked it a little bit for tonight's. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I'll be interested to see how the recording comes out when I listen to it and cry. But I've been really struggling with the gain on my mic, and I've been reading about basically amps for mics. And the one that everybody raves about are these cloud lifter devices. Have you seen those?
I have not.
All right, let me just grab a show link here. Here, take a look at this. And I'll get to the crux of why I wasted $60 here in a minute. And it isn't this company's fault. But what this is a it is designed to give you more gain on your microphones.
So you put that in between your mic and your audio interface?
Correct.
Okay.
And it requires phantom power, but it does not pass phantom power to your microphone. Huh. So if you're using a condenser mic, this is a really good way to waste $60 because this is not compatible with my microphone, and I could have sworn up and down that it was going to be because I use an Audio Technica condenser mic. But if you have I think a mic like what kind of mic do you have?
Oh, what are it's like a
is it a Shure?
Yeah,
or a Rode
87A, which is a super Carteroid condenser.
Yeah, so not going to work. Anything with the word condenser isn't in the name isn't going to work.
If I don't pass phantom power to this mic, you can't hear it.
Yeah, exactly. It won't do anything. So I have this cloud lifter sitting on my desk. It's not doing anything. I could probably hook it up to my microphone upstairs. I just haven't done that yet. So these are pretty universally regarded as awesome. I kind of would love to get a different microphone and try it just to see what it does to the audio quality. But it cleans the signal up, it scrubs it a bit. It's a really sturdy and well built device. I was really looking forward to seeing if it made a difference, but the short version of that story is I wasted $60. And this doesn't cost $60. I used some Amazon gift cards I had, and the reason I'm not returning it is just like I'm lazy. And
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I probably will use this one day. But yeah, they're pretty nice little devices, and they make all different kinds. They're kind of like Focusrite with their red, the little red box
the
boy.
Scarlets. Yeah.
The Scarlets. They also have like single and duo inputs for these type of things, and they're just very well made and very well reviewed. They gave me a cool magnet, so whatever.
Ooh, they sell ribbon. They sell mics. Oh,
they do.
It's those old timey old radio mics.
Yeah, old timey radio.
I could talk into one of those.
Let me see what the other one. Oh wow, those do look nice. How much are they? How much you want to bet? $500.
400. I'm gonna guess. Well, I'm gonna guess. Let's see.
All right, let's look at the high end. I want to go to buy now. Let me spend money. Shop.
I'm looking at
Shop USA.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this.
Actually, you know what? I'll just go to Amazon. That's the right answer. I mean, what am I doing here? Microphones. It is the JRS 34P. So JRS 34P. Well, that's not what I. Nope. What are these called? Cloud microphones.
Cloud.
Well, they don't even sell this on Amazon.
Wow. I clicked the buy now, but it
doesn't do anything.
It doesn't take you to a page in which you can buy it now. And then I click on shop, and then okay, hold on. Oh, you have to buy it through someone else. Okay, I'm going to B&H.
I'm going to go to B&H. Oh, okay. Here. Oh.
We wrong.
We were wrong.
Okay.
We're very wrong. We're very wrong. Cloud microphones, the 44A, which I don't know if that's the higher end or the lower end, is $1,600. Woo! Yeah. No thanks.
Never mind.
No thanks. Yep. Never mind. That was a fun thought exercise. Wow, that must really be good, and it's out of stock, so somebody's buying these.
Yeah.
Yikes! Big yikes.
Oh.
Anyway, that's how I wasted $60. Okay. Now this next one, I'm really starting to worry about you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let's just get after it.
Okay. So, obviously, I have a couple of TVs in my house. I don't have, the traditional cable, right? So I don't have a cable box or anything like that. So I've been using, I think like almost everybody, some sort of, little black puck device to get television.
Right.
And being that, I'm an Apple person, I've been using the Apple TV 4K. And I actually had the previous Apple TV upstairs on my TV for quite a bit. And they're fine. They're fine. I don't like the remote. I don't use the remote. If you remember, I'm a Logitech Harmony person.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Nope. Very fortunately. So this all kind of started around my birthday when I replaced my television upstairs.
Right.
I had an old 1080p Samsung television. I replaced it with a TCL something 4K television, and it had Roku built in. So I didn't want to replace my old Apple TV with an Apple TV 4K until I gave the Roku a fair shot. Mostly because the Apple TV is like $150 still for the model with the less capacity. They're expensive in this realm. It turned out that the Roku stuff was really nice. It was fast, it was responsive. All of the streaming services that I needed were on there. It was in 4K already. So I just, at some point, I just took the old Apple TV that wasn't being used and I put it in the basement. But I still had the app. Yep.
And when you say put it in the basement, is that like taking a dog for the ride in the country? Like
exactly.
It's in a box?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
it's not hooked up in the basement. It is in the basement.
It's in storage. But I still had the Apple TV 4K hooked up downstairs. It started... Well, I've had two problems with the Apple TV 4K. First, at least mine is haunted. It doesn't like to work sometimes. The UI will freeze. Yep. I often have what is that copyright protection on HDMI? HCP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have issues with that where basically I have to go through and reboot it to get it to work again. And also, it ships with that shitty touchscreen remote, that Siri remote. I don't know how anybody uses that thing. It's awful. But the UI and the applications have become increasingly hostile to using a traditional D-pad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it got to the point where there was 3 days in a row, everyone in my house is at home, and a lot of times I eat lunch earlier, and my kids and my wife eat lunch later. And a lot of times they'll watch some television together while they're eating, while they're eating lunch. And 3 days in a row, they were having issues getting it to work, and I came out and gave them tech support, and mostly tech support is just cursing, unplugging it, plugging it back in, and going through. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I
get paid to do that now, by the way.
I'm done. And I replaced it with a Roku Ultra. Because of the beauty of the Logitech Harmony remote, I didn't have to teach anybody how to do anything again. I just set everything up. All the buttons work the same. I think it's better in a lot of ways. I think it's faster, and it's been rock solid. So I have one less Apple device in my house.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest with you, Paul. I was kind of joshing you a little bit there, but I'm absolutely with you. So we have tried several of these media devices in our home. At one point, we had an Apple TV, a Fire Stick, and the Roku. And the Roku is just a consistently better experience. The only thing that really throws me off about Roku sometimes is I've run into a lot of scenarios where the batteries in the remotes run down really fast, and I can't really understand why. That's the only downside I've ever had to using a Roku. Like you said, they are fast, they are responsive, they're pretty easy to set up.
Yeah.
You can in the TVs that don't have. I still have one Apple TV 4K, which I want to talk about a little bit here in a minute. But every other TV in the house, of which there are 2 more, those all have Roku sticks, and I can power them through the TV USB. I don't need a wall wart to power them. They're great, and they're really easy to update. They seem to do fairly well over Wi-Fi. They're great devices. I mean, again, we're cable cuddlers, cable cuddlers. Oh, a title.
And the only reason I went with the Ultra is one, it supports Dolby Vision, and I'd rather have that than not. And B, I wanted an Ethernet port because I literally already had a cable sitting right there that was hardwired into a switch that went right into right into my ear. So I'm like, I'll get the one with the Ethernet port. Otherwise, I would have bought the $35 Roku Stick Plus or whatever they call it and plug it in there. I've been just as fine. Yeah, just as happy.
Yeah, and I still have one Apple TV device. Like you, when I kind of redid my living room / office, I put a 4K TV in there. I bought an Apple TV 4K. I have it hooked up to that through HDMI. And up until about last week, it's been, a mediocre experience at best, just because, again, the remote is so bad. My remote, I think, is now broken. I can no longer scroll to the right.
Oh, no.
And when I scroll up, it scrolls down. So now I am forced to use my phone to sort of interact with the Apple TV. And the clock is ticking to when I replace that. And when I replace it, I will probably replace it with the Roku.
Yeah, and now, in the weird cases where I do want to mirror something from my phone or my iPad, now the Roku support AirPlay, so they just show up on there. And it's like, we buy a lot of digital movies, and we have traditionally done that through, well, I guess it was called iTunes. Now it's Apple TV movie library. I don't know, whatever. But there's an Apple TV app. I can go there, and all of my movies are still there. I can still buy new ones. It's I can watch my Apple TV Plus shows on the Apple TV app.
The other thing I'm noticing in here from your screenshot, it looks like the remote you can plug headphones into.
You can. So I don't use that remote. I use the Harmony, but I do have the Roku remote kind of sitting in a drawer, because one thing you can do is plug a pair of headphones into it, and then you get you can listen to your TV while people are sleeping. So I haven't tried that feature yet, but I might use it. There's a night where I can't sleep or something. I want to watch some TV and not disturb anybody.
Well, it's funny because I've had several generations of these Roku devices, and the very first Roku stick we have is downstairs here in the basement on my older TV. And in order to use that one, I have to turn on the TV to get the stick to power up, and then it turns on. Now, the one we have in our bedroom is a newer one, and that actually can control the TV and the Roku stick, so I can power on the TV from that remote. And that was game change, because I literally just have one little tiny remote for that bedroom now. And that right there is worth it to me.
Oh, and update on the Logitech Harmony software front. Like, I used to keep that VM around with an old version of the Harmony desktop software. Also, there are two types of Harmony devices. There's one that basically use the Smart Hub, and there's the older kinds. If you have a Smart Hub one now, all the setup and stuff is managed right on I use the iPad app, and all the setup was right in there, and it was super easy. And I got, I removed the Apple TV and added the Roku and changed my activities and customized the buttons all right from the iPad. It was great. So now I can destroy that old Mac VM I have sitting around just to run the old Harmony software. It's dramatically improved. They've really, I guess they've decided, hey, we're going to put all of our effort into the mobile apps and making that completely full featured, instead of just an option to do remote stuff from the iPad. It's much better. It worked really well. I was super happy with it. It took me about 15 minutes to get everything absolutely perfect. Map all the buttons so my there was no surprises for my family. Everything worked the same, and boom, done. So Logitech Harmony remotes for the win.
Or you could have just used the remote that came with it.
Nope, absolutely not. Nope. Nope. I mean, I get so much more features. Like, I don't have, when they want to play the Switch down there, they don't have to know, okay, that's HDMI 2. They just say, hit the play Switch button, and it works. I mean, I'm not going to sell you on this, but it's probably the most important device in my whole house.
I would have thought it was your smoke detectors.
I don't care about those. Those are fixed now, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good. No more good-looking fire chiefs, marshals, or whatever coming to your house. Okay.
No more hands. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm happy for you. It's always weird when you and I talk about replacing Apple devices, but I think we can both sort of universally agree that Apple TV is not good, and the remote is awful, and Roku is the way in the light. It's an official endorsement if they want to sponsor us. All right, Paul, I want to talk to you about a unique investment opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Are you a boss babe now, or
no? I want to just go on record as saying that I'm not a financial expert. I am not part of a financial institution.
Okay.
I am not qualified to give financial advice. But Paul, I'm gonna need you to appreciate the fact that Roblox is now a publicly traded company.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. So you have made mention that your children like playing Roblox. I'm glad to see that there is now another company that has launched itself into an IPO space. I got a huge kick out of that today. It's actually worth a lot of money, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. It's trading at $73.64.
Yeah.
It opened let's see.
It opened around 30 or 40.
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Yeah.
No. 45, I think.
40. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a huge kick out of that today, and I'm wondering, is this the next stock to hop onto?
Yeah. It might be. The one thing I am concerned about is remember back when YouTube didn't used to give a shit, and copyright copyright holders be damned.
Right.
That
hasn't happened with Roblox yet.
It has not happened with Roblox yet. I really feel there's a day coming where maybe they have some stuff in place to deal with that, but like
some of it's pretty bad. Some of it's and some of that stuff's pretty sketchy too. I want to just go on record as saying I've never played Roblox, but I have watched a lot of YouTubers play it ironically, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
So, my son doesn't play it hardly at all anymore. He's playing Apex Legends.
Ooh.
And still Destiny 2. Still lots of Destiny 2, but whichever one has new content is the one he's playing at that particular time.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter and her friends play. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I get this right.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yep. So there's a game on Roblox called Bloxburg. Yes. Which is basically.
Hi, I'm Johnny Bloxburg.
Which is basically like, kind of like The Sims for Roblox. You build a house, you get jobs, you do money, you have to eat and stuff like that. And she plays that, I would say, almost exclusively. And it has kind of become this place where her and her friends hang out. So it's more like a destination than anything. And
it's this generation's mall, right? Yeah, we can't go outside.
And what the cute thing is you get a bunch of 11-year-old girls together. They're gonna play house or pretend or something like that. Well, they do that inside of Bloxburg, and it's just adorable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, clear. Listen, I could sit here and snipe at Roblox all I want, but clearly they're doing something right. I know it's not for me. I just found it fascinating that of all the companies that I could have read about that had an IPO this week, I would have never in a million years thought Roblox was going to be one of them. But here we are.
Here we are. They had a big valuation and did pretty well. So
they did very well.
Yeah.
They're good. So tip of the hat to Roblox. Good job, guys. Okay, are you ready to get into all the fuels for the next one here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, here, let's take it away.
So this week, my son registered for his high school classes, which, hold on one second. Let me check the manual. Yep, that makes me an old.
Let me cross-reference. Okay.
Yep, there it is. I'm officially an old. He picked all of his freshman courses, and he's ready for next year.
Oh, man, that's so great.
It is, in a way, and it's also like, holy shit, he's gonna go to high school, and then soon he's going to be driving, and then college. So before we get to all the touchy-feely stuff, I want to make two just general broad comments. So obviously, my son is doing remote learning this year. And so he's not in a school. So all of our information comes through emails and shared Google Docs.
And, and really on top of it, math teachers. And
awkward Zoom conversations where nobody knows how, like, any kind of Zoom etiquette. And the whole, I respect school teachers, and I know they have a hard job, and all the administration, it's also with the COVID, it's much more difficult, but man, those people could use like a project manager.
Sure.
Like they just do not know how to communicate or how to make sure things, like, to run an effective meeting, or it was just absolute chaos. And graduating from high school is a little different than when we graduated from high school, Drew, I think. we're roughly the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just, hey, pass your classes and get a diploma. And obviously there's always been like, hey, you have to have so many credits of math and science and, health or gym or an equivalent. Like now you can get out of gym if you do like, a fine art, which is like art or band or choir. And then there's also obviously, hey, standardized test. There's a test you have to pass, of course. But then there's these things called seals. Have you heard about these things at all? Drew?
Like seals on a paper, or like seals, or
no, like seals on a paper.
Okay.
And there's all these different seals that you can do, and you have to get 2 of them to graduate. And like there are different seals. Like, hey, there's a science seal, which basically means you did well in like your biology class and you take this test. Or there's like a college prep seal where you have to score well on your college entry exam. There's a seal, which basically means, fuck it, I'm going to go into the military, where you register for the military before you graduate.
Now, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Is this an Ohio thing? Is this a local district thing?
I think it's an Ohio thing.
Now, I understand I didn't grow up here. And like...
this is new. Yeah.
Okay, so quick sidebar, right? I grew up in southwestern Pennsylvania where literally nobody took the ACT. I mean, unless you were going to school in like Ohio, nobody I knew took the ACT. There was like 1 or 2 like really smart kids that wanted to go to like some weird colleges that they only took ACT scores, but literally for us it was all SATs. So like, when I came to Ohio and I was talking to people or like talking to my cousins that lived here, like they were studying all for the ACT. So I understand that there's like regional differences or anything, but like this whole SEALs thing, I just don't understand if this is
This is new. Yeah. So okay. I put a link into there. This is a PDF from the Ohio Board of Education, and it basically has all the requirements to graduate. And they have all of the seals there. So there's a technology seal or a seal of biliteracy, or an honors seal.
Ohio means jobs, readiness seal.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's on page 32. I think that's like doing like a vocational class or something.
No. To earn the Ohio means jobs readiness seal, motivated high school students must demonstrate certain professional skills required for success in the workplace. Well, there's no way I would have ever earned this one.
Oh, I think this one is you actually have to do like an internship. And one of the classes you can take in high school is getting like an internship. So you can get this seal.
Professional skills, drug-free. Reliability, work ethic, punctuality, discipline, teamwork and collaboration, professionalism. Well, I fail. Learning agility, critical thinking and problem solving, and leadership. Creativity and innovation. Oh, God damn it, innovation. Oral and written communications, digital technology, global/intercultural fluency, and career management. I would have not been able to obtain this.
So that's just, you have to pick 2. You don't have to get all of them. You have to pick 2. And you have to get 2 before you graduate.
Well, hold on though. Sorry, not to interrupt, but what did you have to do any kind of senior project?
No.
I didn't either. Okay. I guess this is like the new senior project?
I mean, so the weird thing is, Zach had an appointment to go into the high school to meet with a counselor, and my wife took him, but she said that he was absolutely awesome to finalize his classes, make sure he qualified to answer any questions. And one of the things that high school students have to do every year now is they have to fill out this form basically saying, I acknowledge all the requirements I need to graduate, and here's my rough game plan about how I'm going to do it. Now, granted, they can change their mind. So, like, if he decides that, he wants to get, the science seal as a freshman, and then he turns out that, he hates science. When he's a sophomore, he can, basically fill out this form again because he has to and change his mind. But they make you start thinking about this stuff, like literally, like we had to read all this stuff and, get a plan together and figure out what courses he's going to start taking and how he's going to, what SEALs he's going to go for. And it's
which ones did he pick?
He picked science and college prep.
Okay.
So
cool.
His general, back of the envelope, like, if I had to pick right now, I would pick to go into zoology. So we're like, zoology, you're probably going to need some science and go to college. So there you go.
I mean, he's making all the right moves.
Yep. So it's just it's different. It's different now. Things have changed, Drew. Things have changed.
The game done changed, Paul.
And as an official old now, it's my job to complain about it.
Well, man, like high school for me was an absolute joke. It just was, because the thing of it is I think I mentioned this before when we were talking about Zach and like getting older and stuff, but I mean, I knew relatively early on that I was going to do something with computers. And, when I got to high school, I took AP classes that were computer science. So I actually was going to be going into college at the University of Pittsburgh with like 12 credits. Like I was already going to enter with some credits from these computer science courses. And I remember that my grades and my GPA were good enough that all I really had to do my senior year of high school was just pass English. Like that was it. That was the only thing I had to do. And it was the only class I cared about. I actually had a really good teacher. We did like public speaking stuff, and I had like a really good time in that class. But every other class, I just didn't give a crap about. Like in chemistry, I made Jell-O. It's just like I would like just never go to class. I would like skip school and go to Best Buy. That's the year I bought my first Voodoo 2 card. Like my senior year, I just completely just checked out. But again, like that's just because I didn't have to do any stuff like this. And I feel like if that would have been there, if there had been some kind of senior project or SEALs or something, I don't necessarily know if it would have changed who I am today, because when I got to like, I knew talking to people that were older than me and talking to my parents and talking to college counselors that like, look, when you get to college, like it is nothing like this. You're responsible for your schedule. You have to know when stuff is due. Nobody's going to hold your hand. There's a ton of paperwork. If you're taking loans, somebody owns you for the next 10 years. Like, pay all this money back. Like they drill it into you, right? And it only took me really a semester to figure it out. Now I regressed my sophomore year of high school. I had a really rough first. I definitely exhibited a sophomore slump because I was like working near full time and like I blew off classes and I did really bad my first semester. Like I had a rough sophomore year. But anyway, I think I don't know how I would have dealt with structure like this in high school. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think part of it is just, accountability. The teachers the state wants to make sure the schools are doing their jobs. And this is a way to, to help track that kind of stuff. And maybe someone did a study and this actually improves graduation rates or makes it so you're more prepared for the quote unquote real world after high school. Not that college is the real world. It's like the real world compacted into,
it's not
compacted and condensed.
It's not the real world either.
Yeah, no, it's not. But
okay.
Yeah, it's
all right. So talk to me, man. How you feeling? Like for real?
It's one of those. It's just a realization. It's like, oh my goodness, like I really only have like. Granted, he could go to a local school or whatever, or, most kids end up back in the house after they graduate from college because they can't find a job. But like, I only have like 4.5 more years with him in the house. Then he's just going to be an adult and off on his own. And this is just one of those big milestones where you're like, we're getting close.
Yep. How's your wife taking it?
She's good.
She was. Let me try that again. Who's taking it harder?
I think me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. she was so focused on wading through all the bullshit to make sure that he was in the right courses and, you know, and taking the right things, and that, you know, like he's going to take, I don't know if they call it honors or advanced placement, but it's the same thing. She's going to take honors, English, honors world history, and German, his freshman year.
Smart.
So, she was mostly just focused to making sure that, you know, he got, being that he wasn't in the schools, to hear this from, you know, the presentations they gave in the middle schools. She wanted to make sure that he was, you know, getting what he deserved. So, and she did that. She did a really good job with that. So, yeah, he's going to be a freshman. I mean, come December, he can get his learner's permit. Like, it's, whew.
Who's going to teach him to drive?
I think me. It'll probably be both of us.
Okay.
I think it's going to be one of those things where I think I'm going to be more patient than Jennifer. Also, my wife has this thing where, like, she has a hard time being in a car if she's not driving. She gets kind of motion sick.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So I think it's going to be me, but we'll see. Yeah. I'm more than willing to do it. I remember how my dad taught me, and it was awful. So I'm pretty much going to do the opposite of that.
Okay.
And hopefully it goes better. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a good guidepost, right? Just don't do what made you unhappy.
Yep. His model was, fuck it, you figure it out, and then slamming the door and walking away. So, yeah. Yeah.
That is definitely one way to approach it. Not being a parent, I can't say if that's a do or do not. But I have thoughts.
and then he did it again. So I got my license on an automatic, and then my car after my first car was a stick shift, and my dad had drove stick shifts my entire life, so I knew the general premise. Yep. And him teaching me how to drive stick was 15 minutes of him being in the car with me, him saying fuck it, slamming the door and walking away, and then the next day I had to get to work.
Yeah.
So like so I practiced on my own, and I kind of figured stuff out, and then I left. The drive to work was like 15 minutes, so I left like, you know, an hour before I had to be there, just to go, I'm gonna get to work. I may stall at every stop sign.
Yep.
But I'm gonna get to work.
Yeah, I learned to drive stick. That's what I grew up driving, and we grew up on the side of a very steep hill. So, yeah, that was rough. Well, that's pretty exciting. He must be pretty juiced, right?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is he's excited to, you know, go to real school again, not digital, and yeah, it's a big milestone, right? He's gonna go to high school.
So, okay, one more question, and this sort of goes back to my high school experience. So I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania, and in the district that I grew up in, there were 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. The elementary school that I went to, the kids were almost evenly divided. Like when you graduated from elementary school, half the kids went to one middle school, half went to the other. And then all the kids from the other elementary schools went to one school or the other. So like when you got back together in 9th grade, you recognized some of the people you went to elementary school with, and there was like a whole bunch of kids you never met in your whole life. Does that happen in his district too?
I don't think they get separated, because I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and a high school. So I think each middle school has 2 elementary schools feeding into it, and then they both feed into the high school.
Okay. So when he gets to high school, there's a better than even chance he'll meet kids that he never went to classes with ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, half of them, in fact. At least half of them will be kids he doesn't know. Yeah.
That was always awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in the town I grew up in, right? Even though they went to a different middle school than I did, you would still run into them places. You would run into them like, you know, playing baseball or at the mall or whatever. So like you'd see them and they'd be hanging out with their new friends that you didn't even know, right? You had no idea who these people are. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
that
my
was weird.
school we had 3 elementaries, a junior high, and a high school. So by the time I got into junior high, which was 6th grade, it was the entire. I was with those kids the entire way through.
Well, here's a funny story. So when I got to 6th grade, which was middle school, that's when it was half the kids from my elementary school, and then these other kids from this other elementary school that I'd never met in my life. And 6th grade was the first time I had ever been introduced to student council. And what happened was, in each home room, you were allowed to nominate 2 people. And what happened in every home room, there was like a kid from elementary school A that got nominated, and it was almost like a dead tie. And do you want to know the only reason I won?
Coin flip?
No, one of the kids from the other school died.
Oh shit!
So I won like on just majority. It wasn't a tie. That was awkward.
That's depressing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh.
And student council was one of those things. It was like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't really understand what I was doing anyway.
I didn't do anything like that. I did make National Honor Society, but not because I tried to. I got in there because I had the grades, and my friends go, all you need to get is a teacher recommendation.
Yeah.
And the AP physics teacher loves you. Just ask her for one.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and I'm like, fine, stop bugging me about it. I'll do it.
Right. Yeah, I was in National Honor Society, yeah.
And then when I got my award, they said my name wrong. Ha ha ha.
Oh, well, they said my name wrong when I got married, so, whatever. Doesn't matter. None of this matters.
None of this matters.
I want to go see if I can look up my name in the National Honor Society. Students.
Is that still a thing?
I mean, nhs.us, chapter finder, contact.
Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here.
Become a member. Am I a member?
I'm guessing this is something if I want.
I have to sign up. Students, student accounts. Well, I'm clicking things, but nothing's happening. Create an account. Earn a digital badge. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. Never mind. That was a weird rabbit hole to go down. Okay, so cool. So Zach's going to go to high school. That's pretty cool. Now, Arabelle, what grade is she in now?
That's a good question. She's 3 years younger, so she's in 5th grade.
Oh, so she hasn't started middle school yet?
No, she's still in elementary. Yeah, elementary.
Wait, is she going to be going to 5th or going to 6th?
She's going to be going to 6th.
Okay, so she's going to be going to middle school. That's exciting, too.
She'll be a freshman when he's a senior. Yeah.
Okay, I seem to remember that it seemed like it was a bigger deal for me to go to middle school than it was to high school. I don't know why that is. I just seem to remember it being a bigger deal that I did that. I couldn't tell you why, but it just people made a bigger deal out of that.
For me, like obviously we had a junior high, which is a little different. Maybe junior high was only 7th and 8th. That's what it was. And elementary went through 6th. I was still bitter about moving.
Okay.
My parents moved. We moved school districts when halfway through my 5th grade year, and I was still like I was all sorts of resentful. And then speaking of, I mean, this is going to explain a lot. Speaking of, the biggest memory I have from junior high was I didn't have a whole lot of friends because mostly I was resentful, and but the only real memory I have is my best friend got hit by a car and died.
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Man, that must have been hell on you.
It was. It was one of those. It was one of those things where, I had joined Scouts because my parents were like, "This, you'll make friends," and I stayed in Scouting for a very long time, and we were in Scouts together, and it really didn't like. I was sad for a while, but it really didn't hit me. One of the kids in my troop, as his Eagle Scout project, is he built a bunch of benches for he built a bunch of benches for our summer camp we went to, and I helped out on the project or whatever. But what I didn't know was they were also going to dedicate it to him. So when we went to summer camp, we had the dedication ceremony, and then it was like, and we're dedicating this to Brian. I just
yeah,
I melted into goo, man. They had to like peel me off the ground.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. It's been a long time, and I've gotten over it. But that's my only real, that and Ben Schneider. I hated Ben Schneider.
Ben Schneider.
Yep. He was the there's always one person in school that's really just like, he's your antagonist, he's the villain of your story in high school, and he was mine.
Hold on. Wait. Changing my Twitter handle. Hold on. Yeah, no, I hear you. I had a couple of those too. And there's a great quote in the movie Always Famous. You ever seen that movie?
I don't think I have.
Or Almost Famous. Sorry, Almost Famous. I highly recommend it. And it's a quote that really stuck with me in times of things like that. And it's about a kid who basically goes and writes for Rolling Stone in the 70s and covers a band. And it's a fantastic movie. But Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it, and he says this line to the high school kid. He's like, don't worry about all these other people. You'll meet them on their long, slow journey to the middle. So,
yeah.
And I look back at some of those kids in high school, and I'm just thinking, that's the best they could do. So
yeah, I looked him up like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, and he was just like, he was a assistant manager of like a used car lot or something.
Yeah.
I was like, I won that one.
Yeah, and man, look, it's so I know, like it's not polite to frown on that, right? Because if he's grinding it out and he's providing for his family and he's doing all the stuff he needs to do, if he's a good dad, like that's the shit that matters, right?
Right.
But in those awkward moments of 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, man, like I would love to say that I'm the kind of person that could let shit go, but bullying is real, and that kind of shit sticks with you a long, long time.
Yep.
And I know that I can personally trace a lot of insecurities to that shit.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, same here. It was. Yeah. And again, I also had good friends in high school, so like, I enjoyed high school, and it also helped that I had this guy. He was a junior when I was a freshman, and he was in the marching band. He played the big bass drum because he needed like the credit. And he was definitely like, if you would have put a label on him, you would have said burnout, right? Because, he hung out with the wrong kids and smoked cigarettes and stuff like that. But he was big, he was super friendly, and he liked me. And basically it was like, okay, no one's gonna fuck with Paul because I like him. And then high school was easy.
Yeah, so what's interesting, man, is I had really good friends in elementary school, really good friends in middle school, but the only friends I really had in high school, because I worked, I didn't get my driver's license until my junior year because I had to have a job to pay for insurance and gas, and the only kids I hung around with were kids that were older than me that worked at the grocery store that I worked at. I didn't really have friends that were my age, like in my age group. So like when all those kids graduated and moved away or went to school or did whatever, I didn't really have any friends like the last 2 years of high school. I mean, I was kind of a recluse. I just was on my computer a lot. And then I didn't really make good friends again with people. Like I made some good lifelong friends in college, people I still keep in touch with. But like those last 2 years of high school, I didn't have a lot of friends. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, most of my friends I had two sets of friends. I had my friends from band and my friends that I played tabletop RPGs with.
Well, see, I didn't even have
the band geeks and the nerds.
I didn't even have that. Like I played some D&D like when I was in middle school when we didn't really know what the hell we were doing. But yeah, like I didn't even have that. Like there were some kids that played D&D and like they would invite me to play, but they always play on nights where I was working, so like I could never go.
Yeah.
I didn't really go like headfirst into like gaming and like tabletop gaming like hardcore until I got to college. Because there was just nothing to do in Pittsburgh and you just had to make your own fun.
Yeah. And plus, like, it's, you have those communal spaces in college and stuff, and, free time and freedom, right? So you're like, yeah, I'm going to game all the time because, I can.
How else am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was...
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save that next topic for next week. I do want to talk about that, but we're getting late on time here. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. This has been an interesting one.
Yeah. As always, you can find us on the internet at doingtheirbest.com. There's a whole bunch of, if this is your first episode, you're finding us by accident, you can subscribe there. You can get all the show notes, all that normal.
Yeah, I also need to say thank you, Eric, for the weirdly worded review of the podcast. Thank you. Yeah. If you're a listener, we'd really appreciate like a review and a star or two on iTunes or whatever, if you can.
Whatever, or tell somebody about it. That's probably better. Like, hey, tell a friend, listen to this podcast. And hey, we're on the Twitters at Doing Best Pod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. Where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Pittsburgh. And not to spoil anything, but I think, Paul, we need to dedicate next week talking about the upcoming 100th episode extravaganza.
Yes. Oh, okay. You're right.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Shut up. No. I'm doing it on the doc.
We may need to finally archive some of the stuff in the doc because it's getting pretty.
It's getting up there, isn't it?
It's getting up there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do that too.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.